Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's up today, Chuck?
You know, just living the dream.
I'll tell you. There's a lot of good, fun stuff to talk about, and I did this on Philadelphia today. Like, yes, I am one of the culprits, Charlie, because like we do this show every day, and we dive in, like they say on the Eagles show. We're all sickos,
Right.
So like we're gonna what did Emil Andre get ice time? What are they doing? Send it down Gaucher instead of Kolosov. Like we're gonna break down everything because that's what we do and that's what our audience wants. But every now and then, you got to take a little step back, put on your fan hat, and go, they're playing decent hockey. Are they awesome? No. But right now, don't look, Charlie. The season started. The NHL season started 1 month ago, October 7th. A month into the season, the Flyers over a 600 points percentage, and they're in the playoffs. They are in a playoff spot 1 month into the season.
Look at that.
Same number of points as the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are
more points than the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they're ahead of the perennial contender Lightning. They're ahead of the Caps, who were awesome last year.
Ahead of the defending champs.
Yeah, the defending champs stink, apparently. They were in last place like the other day. Now, like the whole East is over 500, or is at least 500. Yes, that still is true. Very funny, but 8-5-1, 17 points in 14 games, playing at a 99.5 point pace. And the reason I point this out,
okay,
I do not believe this team is a 100 standings point team. That would be very surprising to me. But it's been so long. They haven't had 100 standings points since they did it back-to-back years, 2011, 2012. It's been a long time. And again, yes, there are little things we can pick apart, and we're going to in this show today. But I am enjoying watching the Flyers for the most part. They've thrown in some clunkers, but they've played some entertaining, good games recently, and I'm just going to enjoy that we have a not terrible team.
Yeah, it seems like at the very least. And again, this is all... Would it be cool if the Flyers make the playoffs? Of course it would be. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to see them in the playoffs. It'd be fun to actually be a PHLY with them in the playoffs. That'd be
a lot of fun.
But all the Flyers' brain trust wants out of this season for this team is for them to be better, is for them to be competitive. Last year, for far too long, they were not competitive. They were not even remotely close to being better than they were the year before, but they weren't in the mix. The year before, they were. They got out of the way the Game 82. Game 82 mattered. They just want to, I think, be back there. It's not like they think this team is a cup contender. It's not like they even think this team has to make the playoffs. But they have to hang around. They have to be playing meaningful games in March, hopefully even into April. And thus far this year, this looks like a team that can hang around. Do I have supreme confidence they are going to make the playoffs? Of course not. But I think they could. I think it's a possibility. And I wasn't sure if, when the season started, I wasn't sure if I would be sitting here on November 7th and saying that I think it's a possibility they can make the playoffs. I thought there was a chance they might just be like, what, have 3 wins at this point? And you're just like, all right, well, I guess we're going to be talking about Gavin McKenna a lot this year.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not already doing Tankathon. That's cool. Maybe in March we are. Who the hell knows? But like right now, a month into the season, we're not, and that's nice. And like you'd look at the standings, like we said. Listen, they're ahead of the Caps. They're ahead of the Lightning. Once 82 games have been played, I don't think the Flyers are going to finish ahead of either of those teams.
Seems unlikely.
But like also, like Pittsburgh's off to an awesome start. I don't expect that to continue.
Yeah, I could easily see the Flyers being better than Pittsburgh when this all.
So
like, I do not think they will be ahead of the Panthers and the Lightning.
Panthers.
The Capitals, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know if I really buy them as this great team.
I don't think I buy them as a great team, but I think after watching them for 2 years, I think I know they're decent.
Okay.
Like, I think they're...
First year, they were pretty bad. It was just the East was horrendous.
Yeah, but then
the Flyers got all the way to Game 82.
And then they built on that. Like, when I see that happen, I'm like, all right, they're probably somewhere in between those two things.
And I want to make a point before we go forward, because I already see someone in the mentions complaining about the 3 goalies. Guess what, Jesse Bond? We do not have 3 goalies. Aleksei Kolosov was sent down this morning.
Look at that.
There we go.
Now, that's that's very funny that I didn't even see that. That's kind of interesting because I thought like he was going to be insurance forced to get to Saturday, and they're not even doing that.
No, this is just, as I said yesterday, it's an example of the fact that everyone,
Why did they do it this
all
way?
of the fans on social media overthink everything, and then they work themselves into getting mad at everything, when in reality, these are extremely minor things that don't actually matter.
They don't. It's just like, it's such a weird way to go.
It's extremely weird. And as I said, the only reason why they do it is to make my life tougher, because they know they don't, like, Danny Briere doesn't have to deal with, doesn't have to deal with the fans being like, why the hell did you do that? That's so weird.
Yeah, he's not.
But you know who does have to deal with the fans that are being like, why the hell did they do that? It's so weird. Me and Jackie and Kevin and Jordan. It's all to make our lives a little bit tougher. That's the reason. I believe it.
I was just about to say, I think if I was a GM, I would have burners and like harass people like you. And then I realized like someone in town actually did that. Like it happened.
True. It did happen.
Like it happened. I interacted with.
Then we as the collective media
we figured it out. We figured it out. That would be very funny to do if I was Danny. I'd like, all right, I'm not gonna have a burner, but I'm going to do little weird stuff that just pisses off like the insane people in our fan base.
Yeah.
And then the writers will have to deal with it. This is my revenge for like them having to ask me questions and justify my employment. Yep. Like I have to justify my employment to them. I am going to just annoy them kind of. I think that's that's fair.
Like that whole thing.
That was
like,
so weird.
They could have very easily, they could have just activated Ayrton today and used Kolosov as the backup last night. It would not have been hard. But instead, they just do it a little bit weirder than normal just to watch the freak out.
That's so, I didn't even see that. That's so freaking funny that they did it this morning, like at practice.
Yes.
Like, did Kolosov practice?
He did not. I asked Rick Tocchet today, what's your plan for the 3 goalies? And he's like, oh, we sent Kolosov down this morning. And then about 30 minutes later, they officially announced they had sent Kolosov down.
That's so effing funny. Oh, man. That made my day. That honestly makes my day. That like it's not even any of the normal, like, okay, there are reasons for this, and I think I know why, and like this kind of makes sense. And then no, it's none.
It was just like, nah, we wanted to activate Ayrton, and Gaucher wasn't playing anyway, so we sent him back.
All right. Anyway, even with weird things like that going on, maybe we can all just be like, all right, everything's kind of good right now. I'm not saying they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're great. Not even saying like I fully know how they're going to get to great, but like it's going well right now. And after basically 5 years of bad hockey, like, yeah, we had November to mid-January a couple years ago. That was a fun month and a half, but 2.5 months, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But that was it. Like, that's the only good hockey we've seen in 5 years. So this first month of the season, I am going to enjoy it a little bit. All right, shots. Pour them out, Brenna. No,
it's not quite happy hour yet. It's 4:08.
It's always happy hour if you want it to be Charlie.
All right, fair.
So we talked about this shots thing in pregame, and I'm going to play that video we played last night again in a minute. But we've been talking about this team's seeming inability for a lot of this season to generate offense. We know Tocchet wants to be a possession team, but even when they were getting some decent possession in certain games, it was like, what do you mean you have 21 shots? You had the puck for like 2/3 of the game.
Yeah.
What do you mean you didn't crack 25? And they seem to have at least figured out how to get more than 18 in a game. Like they had 25.
That's good.
They had the big 42 the other night. And then last night they come back. I think they got 25. And then the 26th is on the empty net. So, okay, those are decent enough numbers. It's you're not getting 30 plus, but
it's possible.
It seems to be coming around a little bit. And we talked, this is the part that just made me laugh during pregame. Like, Tortorella didn't coach offense. So a lot of these guys haven't been coached on like what the plan is in the offensive zone.
It's like, you guys do your thing.
Yeah, and it took a little bit of an adjustment. How do you think they've adjusted? Like, do you see it happening, Charlie? Like when they're in the offensive zone, maybe not every shift, but more regularly than it was in the first couple weeks?
I do. I get the sense. Number one, I get the sense that Tocchet has more or less told them, look, maybe at some point we can focus on shot quality. Right now, we got to focus on volume because we just don't have enough. So defensemen, take a few more point shots than you normally would because we just need pucks on net. We need to create some havoc. We need to take advantage of when we have guys at the net front to be able to score in that way. So I think that's part of it. But I am seeing a bit more cohesion in the offensive zone. And we'll get into the Tocchet of it all.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking about the general, like, my eye test, yeah, I'm seeing more cohesion overall. And they're doing this without Tyson Foerster, who was 1/3 of the one cohesive line. So that seems like an extra positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, when we talk shot quality, like a lot of times it's about location, and that's what you just referenced. But I love what Tocchet says in this clip about it's also like shot choice, shot selection, where you place it, and other guys getting to the net that make it a dangerous shot. And I want to see what he says about that.
Yeah, we obviously wanted shots on net, but we also got to hit the net and the shot. I call it lock shot location. Like a lot of times, you want to get the puck on net where the goalie has a tough handle, where there could be a rebound or a second play. A lot of times, we're ripping the puck wide, and then you're missing the opportunity. So getting pucks on net is also for shot location. You know, sometimes you're not trying to score; you're trying to put the puck on net where the goalie's got it's an awkward save. Trevor Zegras in the power play. You know, he's not trying to score. That's by design. He hits the pad, and Bobby Brink gets the weak side goal. That's a smart play by Trevor. Like, you know, if he rips a puck there and that angle, probably it's hard to score. But he thought, hey, man, I'm just going to get this puck on net. Awkward save, and now Bobby gets the goal. That's the stuff that I really think is intelligent hockey.
It seems so simple, and it's kind of crazy to think like these weren't talking points, and these guys are like it seems like Trevor Zegras came in and is like, do you guys not play offense? Like he's like got to teach everybody how to score or something. Like that's kind of what it feels like. He's looking around like, what? Yeah, man, of course I shot for a rebound. Like, yeah.
Is that what you all should? Don't you all do this?
Like, yeah, man, like Owen Tippett, you can beat a goalie clean, but most of you can't. And like, it's really hard to do. They're awesome. Maybe we try getting some traffic. Like, it's crazy to think that this is kind of a new thing. And I know there's more to it. It's not just that. Like, they actually, you know, want to get on the forecheck, not just be a rush-based team, all that stuff they've been doing. So that's a little bit of a reversal. But it's crazy that he has to, like, point out that. Like, oh, man, that play by Trevor, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to get these guys to do. Wow, this team did not play offense for 3 years.
Yeah, it was. I'm not willing to go that far because they did generate shots under.
They did.
They did have a good rush-based game. They didn't do well enough on the cycle, to be sure. But I feel like some of that was when they would get the puck on the cycle, they would just shoot, and it would be a terrible shot. And yeah, they make the shoot crowd happy, but they were never going to score on any of those shots. It does seem like, and this is where we'll get into the Tocchet of it all. That screenshot that went around last weekend when the Flyers are at the height of we're struggling, we're having these bad home games, and everyone's losing their minds about Tocchet's teams don't shoot. I think part of the reason why it annoyed me is because I've been bringing this up for months. Like I had been mentioning this in the media room, that like because I'd have people being like, you know, why aren't the Flyers getting that many shots on goal? And my response would be like, if you go back and you look at Rick Tocchet's teams, they tend to not be near the top of the shots on goal charts. And then it seemed like the entire world figured it out, and then it was like the worst thing in the world. Here's the thing. In no way, shape, or form did Tocchet want the Flyers to be taking 18 shots on goal. Like that was on the extreme end.
Yeah, this is
not going to work for anyone. But Tocchet's teams, in general, the way he's coached, are more of a shot quality over shot volume team. And maybe he'll change that here. We're still in the early stages of him building the system here and getting people to adapt to what he wants to do in the offensive zone. But overall, while he certainly doesn't want them taking 18 shots a game, I would not be shocked if the Flyers end up falling in around 26, 27. And it's also worth noting that's kind of the direction the NHL as a whole is going towards. Like looking at
the numbers when I did this comparison I'm going to get to, in a few years, it was so like the 27th ranked team was still like 29.4 shots a game or something. And then suddenly it's like, no, it's 22 is last. Like it's very odd how it dipped in like the course of 2 years.
It's changed dramatically, and you can see it in a sort of a roundabout way. You can see it in the save percentages.
Yes.
One of the reasons why goalie save percentages are much worse than they were even 3, 4, 5 years ago is because teams are taking fewer shots, but they're taking better shots. So, you know, if you're scoring 3 goals on 30 shots, that's a .900 save percentage. You're scoring 3 goals on 22 shots. That's significantly lower. But really all that maybe happened is you didn't take 8 shots that never had any chance of becoming goals anyway because they were shots from the point with no traffic. So I don't think Tocchet's strategy of shot quality over shot volume is inherently a bad thing. Like, God, ask any Carolina Hurricanes fan after they flame out in the playoffs, and they're all going to scream like, oh, we take too many bad shots. We should care more about quality. So there's clearly a balance there. The question isn't, is Rick Tocchet going to get the Flyers to shoot a lot? Because I think the answer to that is no, he's not. The question is, can Rick Tocchet get the Flyers to play the kind of balanced game that they need to play in order to create enough shots where you are getting some dirty goals, but not just be firing away from anywhere where you're just making every opposing goalie look amazing because you took 40 shots from the perimeter. It's whether he can coach the Flyers into finding that balance. And we're only, 14 games in?
Yeah.
We're 14 games in. I don't expect the Flyers to have discovered that balance yet. If they haven't discovered that balance by game 50, by game 60, then I'll be concerned. But at this point, I'm still willing to cut the Tocchet coach Flyers a bit of slack as they try to figure out exactly what the balance between volume and quality is that this new coach wants.
Absolutely. And I want to take a look at some of the Tocchet numbers because I do think some of it's a little explainable outside of just Rick Tocchet's teams don't take too many shots. But first, we have to take our first break. Listen, every holiday season, my wife and I throw a huge Christmas party the Saturday before Christmas for all of our friends and family. And if you're not on top of your budget, it can get away from you. You're throwing a big party. We're getting gifts for kids. There's food, all this. It goes, man. It goes fast. So if you want to keep track of your if you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch. It's rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface. It's on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off. We all know how quick and easy it is to blow through your budget during the holidays. Don't let it happen to you, and don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. And while we're here, got to tell you about Cherry Hill Jeep. That's right. If you're looking for a Jeep or Ram truck, there's only one dealership in South Jersey who has been the market leader since 1967, and it is our friends at cherryhilljeep.com. They've got you covered on the best selection, but more importantly, the best prices. Right now, take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months on 2025 Grand Cherokee or 0% for 72 months on 2025 Ram 1500 and slide into 2025 Jeep Wrangler this month for $289. Stop in today, tell them PHLY sent you, and receive $1,000 off any new car and an additional $2,000 for your trade-in. I know people buy Jeeps and Ram trucks elsewhere. I just don't know why. Drive home in your new Jeep or Ram truck today, just minutes from all bridges, or available online 24/7 at cherryhilljeep.com. All right, Charlie. So it does feel like the league is just kind of trending to fewer shots. It came up a lot in the playoffs last year.
It really did, yeah. Florida was averaging like 23 shots a game.
It's like I'm enjoying this game thoroughly, but there's been 18 total shots. We're halfway through.
You're not wrong.
And it's 11-7, huh? And this is McDavid versus the Panthers. I don't know. This seems like there's two pretty good teams, and they're just teams are just focusing on shot quality. So the numbers themselves are just down over the last few years. But during Tocchet's 2 full seasons in Vancouver, it is true. The Canucks averaged the 4th fewest shots per game in the league with 27. The teams below them, the Habs, the Sharks, and the Blackhawks, 3 teams in various stages of rebuilds at the time. That's not great. You probably want to have better offensive output than teams losing on purpose.
Yeah.
But during his 4 seasons in Arizona, the Coyotes averaged the 6th fewest shots in the league during that time. You know who was below them in that time frame? The Canucks. So maybe this is more of a roster construction general manager interview with the Canucks, or issue with the Canucks, and it just kind of gets put on Tocchet.
That is interesting. I didn't realize that. And maybe that's part of it. And that's, again, why I wanted to take a little bit of a wait-and-see approach here.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily think that Tocchet's, obviously the bones of his system, the bones of his tactics are going to be the same across teams because he's a head coach. He has a way he wants his team to play. But I do think that you can make tweaks. Like even today, we were talking with Tocchet about the penalty kill. And he was saying that, Todd Reardon runs the PK. He is the PK coach. But Tocchet said, look, at heart, I'm a PK coach. That's what I came up as when I was an assistant, I coached the PK. So I tell Todd, this is the general way I want the penalty kill to play because this is what I believe is the best way for a penalty kill to play. And then I let him make his tweaks. I let him make his adjustments to the way he wants to have the guys do the general things that I want them to do. And that's how a system can change place over place. He doesn't have the same assistants. I mean, Yogi was there, but that was about it. All these other guys, they're new. He doesn't have the same assistants in Philly that he had in Vancouver. So maybe the Vancouver system was a more of a skew toward quality over volume, but maybe this version, because of the assistants, because of the players, will be a little bit more skewed towards volume when it's all said and done. Now, so far it hasn't been. So far they've been very low on the shot volume charts, but we are seeing it trend upwards a bit over the last 5-6 games in terms of, I guess, the overarching trend. There have been some rough games. I think we just haven't reached the point yet where it's stabilized. We don't yet know what this Flyers team is going to look like offensively because this Flyers team hasn't yet figured out how to do everything the Tocchet wants it to do.
Yeah, and listen, Foerster's out. Michkov isn't going. Tippett has been getting chances, but he's not scoring. Like, these are three guys I want shooting all the time, and they could all stand to shoot a little more right now, I think. And then the defensemen. Yes, we are seeing Cam York kind of start to take hold of the offensive side of his game, but I could use a few more shots from the point from all the other guys, specifically Jamie Drysdale and Emil Andre. Like, I want to see them get a few more shots through. All that, like, okay, now we're talking about 30. Like, if you see that, that's 5 more shots a game.
I want to talk about this for a second, about this idea of point shots, because on one hand, I agree with you, especially if you've got traffic in front. I would like more shots. But if you think about the guys the Flyers have on the back end, like, no one really has a big shot. They don't have that guy where you're like, when you had Shane Gostisbehere. You want a Shane Gostisbehere.
Oh, yeah.
Because his shot was dangerous and you could see it. Every time he shot, you're like, the crowd at the Wells Fargo Center, time was just like, oh, it's a ghost bomb. He might score. There's really nobody on this blue line. Like, maybe Sanheim once in a while, but that's really about it. There's nobody on this blue line that has a booming shot. So I don't know if I want them shooting a ton because there is no Shea Weber on this back end.
No, I don't need them shooting a ton. And, like, they don't have that big one-time option. Like, just, that noise when
it's exciting.
The puck would... Yeah. And then Ghost would leak back out. And it was like, yo, they're setting it up. Like, that was very exciting. They do not have anything close to that. Did like what I saw. Like, Cam York connected on one. That was nice to see. But even, like, all right, that wasn't a booming shot.
Yeah.
It just went in.
Yeah, it went in. Sometimes they do. Ivan Provorov scored like 17 goals one year.
And all of them were a joke. Like, it was like, this is just ridiculous at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, but anyway, like, I don't want a ton of point shots, and good point, they don't have that guy back there. I do, like, if this is going to be cycle, get traffic, someone has to take the shot. That's really more where I'm coming. Like, all right, if this is going to be possession, that means you're going to have those opportunities up high as we suck everyone in down low. Like, that's just kind of the way the gravity is going to work.
Yeah.
If it's, all right, we're cycling, they're creeping in, we're getting traffic, kick it out, someone's open, maybe it's the point man.
Yeah.
I just a little bit more of that. I don't need 12 shots from up there a game, especially when you said, oh yeah, those are just like stoppages. It's basically like, yeah, man, everyone wants a change, so I'm just gonna throw this into the goalie's glove, and we're all gonna 10 more guys are gonna come out and start over.
I just think with the guys they have on the back end, because it's not like the guys they have aren't offensively oriented. They have skills. They have puck skills. I would like more of their shots to be like activations where like there's a lot of motion. There's a lot of motion in the offensive zone, and maybe you get some confusion, and then Cam York sneaks down to the low circle to get a shot rather than him being right up at the point, because those shots, the lower shots for York, when he's coming in with speed, he's moving downhill, they actually might go in. Whereas the point shots, like, I'm only really looking for them to shoot from the point if there's traffic. If there's a lot of traffic, if there's guys in front, if they're running a set play where they got a guy in the slot who's looking for a tip, like that's how I think you're going to score with this personnel from point shots. Unfortunately, they don't have a Shane Gosper. They don't have a Shea Weber. They don't have a guy where you're like, yeah, feed him the puck and just let him bombs away. Those are fun, and I miss those days, but none of these guys are like that.
None of them are that. We started, I feel like that was one of the things that really stood out about the way Drysdale ended the season last year, and we were like, okay, parts of his game, I feel like we haven't seen as much of that activation part as we did last year. And we know, like, Tortorella kind of likes his defensemen to be rovers, and maybe Tocchet's like, you just stand up there, all right? You just stand up there. We're not giving up 2-on-1s. Maybe that's just a part of Tocchet's system, and the little bit of a difference there. But I do think there is room for this offense to improve. Obviously, like, they're not that good, but I see a way for them to be what they are, but better, and not just like, yeah, man, they're averaging 25 shots a game, and that's what they're gonna get for the rest of the season. Like, I think they could easily create more shots and chances than they have once, Tyson Foerster comes back, once everyone's a little more comfortable under the new coach, and honestly, once Matvei Michkov starts playing like Matvei Michkov. That's a huge part of it. He is the chance man, and he's not getting chances.
Yeah, and I thought you saw, like, watching that Montreal game where they had 42 shots. Yes, it was a close game, but that was more because the second period they just couldn't defend. Well, really less about defending. It was more like Dan Vladar didn't play that well, and Montreal was just shooting the lights out. But point being is that offensively, that struck me as a blueprint to what you're talking about, because they were playing aggressive. They were attacking. They were getting shots on goal when the lanes were there. They weren't getting a ton of shots blocked. They weren't missing a ton of shots. That was an efficient shooting game. Obviously, they finished with 4 goals. They win the game in the shootout. But 42 shots, like, that's fun. That's fun. That's fun, and they played a fun game, and they showed that they can do it, that they are capable of doing it.
The fact that they shot a ton, kept up with, and came back after losing the lead on the highest scoring team in the East, like one of the highest flying teams in the league, that was impressive to me, like doing it on the road after having the 18 shots. Like, all right, so you can play different ways. It is important to, like, be flexible, because sometimes you're going to be in a game like that, even if Tocchet doesn't want his team to play that way. They're going to have to sometimes, and that was cool. All right, before the break, I want to do a little bit of a complete turn here and talk about something entirely different, Charlie, because it's time for The Future is Bright, presented by Shady Rays. And I think we deserve a little bit of credit for something here, Charlie, because we did that episode of The Shootout the other day, asking who might be viable in terms of call-ups from the Phantoms. And it's like, yeah, man, we love Bump, we love Barkey, but they're not, like, killing it down there. They're doing all right. They're figuring it out, but they're not killing it. And then immediately, Alex Bump, Denver Barkey, they have big games, each of them. And now they're tied for second on the team in scoring, 7 points apiece in 11 games. Pretty good for rookies in the AHL.
Not bad.
Bump has 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 3. Barkey ended a 3-game pointless streak with a 4-point night. Like, all right, it's turned around in 1 game, and that's kind of my hope for Michkov as well. But as just a little check-in on the prospects as a whole, the top guys are doing pretty well. All the guys, at least the forwards, like Oliver Bonk still hasn't suited up for the Phantoms. He's still out with the injury. But at least the high-end forwards, all off to pretty good starts. They send Jet Luchenko back. He's played in 3 games for Guelph. He's got 6 points. I would say 2 points a game is a pretty decent number. Obviously, the 1 goal, 5 assists. Like, yeah, this guy hates shooting. But he is at least creating offense down there, and maybe taking that part of his game to another level. Porter Martone, yeah, just no big deal. 9 points in 6 games as a freshman at Michigan State, leads the team, seems pretty good. It feels as if the future is actually bright. It's so bright, you got to put on your Shady Rays.
Yeah. It seems like Alex Bump is really starting to figure it out in the AHL. You mentioned when you were talking about all the guys that, while Barkey just had the one big game.
Yeah.
Seems like Bump is trending upwards. Like, I want to see from Barkey, was that just one really good game, or is it really clicking for him? Let's see if he can do it the next couple weeks. With Bump, it seems like he's been on an upward trajectory for a while, and now the offense is finally clicking. I think generally speaking, we agree that Bump is closer to NHL ready, especially when we're talking about physically. He's a little bit older than Barkey is. So Bump is maybe a little bit more exciting for me in the here and now because, like, hey, if he keeps scoring like this, he might be up by December, depending upon injuries and whatnot. So that's exciting to me for Bump. Martone's just been awesome. And there was a really good article on Broad Street Breakout. Did a really in-depth video breakdown of Martone's play at Michigan State. And as someone who really hasn't gotten a chance to watch basically any Michigan State games thus far, it was a nice little, not teaser, but just a way for me to dive into what he's actually doing beyond just looking at his numbers and being like, oh, they seem good. It really seems like Martone is rounding out his game. It's doing exactly what the Flyers wanted him to do in college, which has become a more consistently assertive, impactful, power-type forward, in addition to all the skill that he has. Martone's exciting, man. And I think it's a near lock that he's going to be on this team, like on the big club next season, depending upon how his college season goes. He might get some time with the club at the end of this season, also depending on how the Flyers are doing. If they're in the midst of a playoff race, maybe they don't just toss him in there. But if they are 10 points out of a playoff spot, yeah, you're probably going to get him 2 or 3 games if they lose in the semis or if they lose in the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament. Martone looks like he's really, really killing it. And I believe tonight he's playing against Gavin McKenna. I think it's a Michigan State-Penn State battle.
All right.
If you're not doing anything this Friday night, I will be, so I won't be able to watch it. But if you're not doing anything, check out that game. I think it could be fun.
This guy with his social life. we gotta get you married and into the suburbs. All right. Anyway, Charlie's just like, I'm going to kill you.
I like living in the city.
I know. I miss it. All right. That is the Shady Rays. Future is bright. And now we have to take another break. Listen, now more than ever, you gotta get Xfinity if you call yourself a big sports fan, because it's the ultimate sports destination. There's never any lagging. There's never any buffering. There's no, let me just switch between a million different apps to find all my favorite teams and all the best games. They're all in different places. No, it's all in one place when you have Xfinity. So if you call yourself a fan, you just have to do it because it's the perfect fan flex, that enhanced 4K picture and sound. So clear, it's like you're in the arena. And you can watch up to 4 games at once with the Xfinity Multi-View. If you can go quad box, why not go quad box? On top of all that, you get the real-time notifications and stats right on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every single time. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. And while we're here, got to tell you about BetParx Online Casino, because whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx Online Casino app. You got to check out new games like Huff and More Puff. They have so many slot options to choose from. Talking about Fire Blaze, we're talking about 88 Fortunes, Cash Eruption, slots based on your favorite streaming shows like The Walking Dead and Peaky Blinders, Breaking Bad, nostalgic favorites like The Goonies, and, of course, the classics. Blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat. So many ways to win on the BetParx Online Casino app. And right now is the time to get in because new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Just go to betparx.com, download the app, and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Also, I've noticed that the number of people watching the show, as it's continued over the last half hour, has been progressively going up. That's great, but all you new viewers, have you hit that like button? We're only at 49 likes. Got to get to at least 100. At least 100. Hit that like button.
It doesn't make sense to be watching something that you don't like. So either you're a fool or you hit the like button. Those are your options. That's just math. All right.
Math. Even Bill can do it.
Someone.
So what?
I had to do like a very simple math problem earlier, like
Uh-huh.
just like putting stats together. I don't even remember what it was, but like Brenna and someone else were sitting at the table, and I was like, I don't want anyone to see me doing this. It's like 82 minus 6 or something.
Amazing.
Like I was like, I can't. No one can see what I'm doing on my phone right now, and it's because I'm trying to subtract 6 from like a 2-digit number. Anyway, it's time for the Matvei Michkov of it all, Charlie.
Hey,
Because as the Michkov turns, this is what most of the fan base, the only thing they care about, number 39.
Not wrong. I mean, I feel like people like Trevor Zegras.
Oh, they do. They very much do.
Zegras is the other guy who doesn't get any grief from anyone.
Yes.
The general consensus: Michkov and Zegras can do no wrong. They're the best.
Yeah.
And Dan Vladar for now.
Dan Vladar for now.
Very positive.
Another
for now.
4-goal game? Might be calling up Kolosov.
Very possible.
Get your ass out of here. Vladar has been excellent. All right. Michkov scores his second goal of the season last night. He was tagged with 3 giveaways in the NHL box score.
Felt
but
like more.
honestly, I have no idea how giveaways and takeaways are tabulated, who keeps score, what counts. Because when you look at the box score and you just watch the game, you're like, this isn't right. I don't understand how this
I would love it if there was like, you know how sometimes they'll change. There will be a new emphasis in terms of stat collection, and then the numbers will be wildly out of like what they were before. If there was one year where they're just like, you know what, we're actually going to track giveaways and takeaways seriously, and then like suddenly the league leader in giveaways is at like 1,000.
Yeah, it would like. I think it would have to be, but like, what's a giveaway and what's like a takeaway that
You just
doesn't
lost
count as a
possession
giveaway?
of the puck,
There's
yeah.
just so many. It's anyway. Watching Matvei Michkov play, it's great he scored the goal. And listen, maybe that's the thing that gets him going. And in a week, we've forgotten all about this slow start. But watching him play last year, there were times, especially I mentioned this a show or two ago, like on the backhand on the right side, he would fumble the puck a little more. Then I was like, oh man, like a guy with hands like and skill like yours, you should control that better. This year, it feels like every time he's touching the puck, he's fighting at someone.
He's having trouble controlling.
Like he's really having trouble controlling the puck. Do you think this is frustration, the conditioning thing, not adjusting to the adjustments opponents are making to him? Like, what has happened that he is a worse puck handler in year 2 than he was in year 1? Because it seems much more like, yeah, it happened last year, but not at this rate.
William, the answer is yes. It's all of those things. Like, it's probably all of those things. It's that, you know, he doesn't have that extra step, so he's not able to gain the separation that he gained when he was at his best last season. It's that teams probably watched a lot of tape on him in the summer, and they have decided, like, no, we just got to be on him. Can't give him any time because he'll find somebody if we do. That's probably part. What was the other thing you mentioned?
Yeah, the adjustments, conditioning, and just plain frustration.
And frustration, probably part of it too. Yeah, probably frustration because this is a guy who holds himself to very high standards in terms of his production. You know, Danny Briere even said after the season that before Michkov went back home, they had a meeting, and Danny was like, I'm not going to tell you what he wants to do next year in terms of points, but it's a lot. So Michkov is probably real frustrated that he's off to this slow start. Like, as frustrated as you may be with Matvei Michkov, I guarantee you he is even more frustrated with himself, and that's probably playing into him doing a little bit too much, him trying to make 3 plays when he should just be trying to make 1. It's probably all those things, I would guess.
Now, that's the mental aspect, the frustration aspect is what I want to ask you about. Now, you weren't just on this trip. Obviously, you're here, and you were here for the post games.
Right.
But like overall, you're in the locker room, you're at practice, you're at every home game. Have you noticed? I know he doesn't address the media as regularly as many others do.
Oh, yeah.
But like
he's
you
not
see him
fluent in English.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But you see him around.
Sure.
Is he acting any differently than last? Like, do you think off the ice getting to him, or is he just the Mike that we knew last year? Like, how is it? Have you noticed any?
I would say that in the room after practices, he seems like the same guy. He seems like you see him chatting with teammates, you see him shouting across the room. He doesn't seem like he is, letting it get to him in the sense of like, I'm just going to be pouty and angry all the time. I will say that during practices, though, I've seen him look more frustrated. Like there have been some times where like he'll like after a drill, he'll just like wind up and shoot the puck at the boards. Like, and it's very clear that like he's ticked off at something, like whether it's an instruction he got, whether it's some feedback, whether he's just angry at himself in a certain drill at how well he did. You are seeing some more frustration in practices on the ice. I've yet to see it in the room, but you also have to remember that we're only given access to part of the room.
Yeah.
There's private parts of the room, and maybe it's showing up there, but he's at least smart enough and cares enough not to make it obvious to us in the media accessible parts of the locker room that he's letting it weigh on him. I'll say that.
Now, last night, I feel like just thinking back about the show, I was like driving home. I was like, we made a lot of our discussion about a guy who scored a goal about everything else he did wrong in the game. And I felt like, what's his name? In Mystery Alaska, the dad at the dinner table when he's like putting the potatoes on his plate. He's like, you think because you scored 2 games, you had a good goal? Or you had a good, because you scored 2 goals, you had a good game? And he's just like telling him everything he did wrong. So I told you yesterday about the guy who DM'd me the Michkov Yakupov stat comparison. Well, I did a little comparison of my own because there's one thing that bothers me when we do this. Russians only ever get compared to other Russians.
It's true.
It's like, well, yeah, I mean, who's his closest?
Kucherov.
Who's his closest comparable? I don't know. Maybe Kucherov. Maybe Panarin. Like, name a guy with an English name, and maybe I'll start taking. And I do it too because like everyone else is comparing him to Kucherov, so I guess that's who I got to compare him to.
Right.
But I decided to do a little statistical analysis myself, Charlie, and I took Nathan MacKinnon. Perennially one of the best players in the league. He's 30 now. He's won a cup. He's been a Hart Trophy contender every year since like year 5 in the league. Their first 94 games, which is how many games Matvei Michkov has played in his career, Charlie. Matvei Michkov, 28 goals, 42 assists.
Okay.
Nathan MacKinnon, 27 goals, 44 assists. Their numbers are basically identical. Nearly identical. Their rookie seasons, 63 points in 80 games for Mish, 63 points in 82 games for MacKinnon. Now, yes, MacKinnon came into the league as a pretty young 18-year-old. He's got a September 1st birthday. So, like, he made that team out of camp having just turned 18.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's Luchenko-ish.
Yes, Luchenko-ish. Exactly. Absolutely. 18-year-old, that's hard to do. 63 points as an 18-year-old.
Very
but
impressive.
He also wasn't immigrating from halfway across the world and like having to speak a language he doesn't speak. Like, I'm going to say variable-wise, these things might be able to balance themselves out a little bit, and we can have a fairly direct comparison. Yes, Misha's off to a slow start. Nathan MacKinnon, though, after those 63 points as a rookie, he didn't top 53 until year 4 or 5. Like,
he was a little bit of a late bloomer, especially for a first overall pick, and a guy who now is the consensus top 3 player in the world.
He's gonna finish in a bad year 5th in Hart voting. Like that's where Nathan MacKinnon is now at 30 years old. This is all to say development isn't linear, and as frustrating as, because listen, me and you this summer, not even on the air, just as people who like watching hockey, you're like, yo, it could be exciting what we get out of Michkov next year. Yeah, we wanted it.
Yeah.
It's not happening yet. But look, even like maybe the second best player in the world, his first 4 years weren't all that impressive. And now he's the second best player in the world. So we can like maybe relax with the Nile. He's a bust like Yakupov. Like, or he could be the best player like MacKinnon. It could go either way.
Bill, like, this is what you got to understand. Number one, sports fans in general are reactionary. Like, they just are. Like, it's just the way it is. I mean, when I'm rooting for the Eagles, I'm reactionary. It's just the way we are. But also, you're talking about Philadelphia Flyers fans who have been burned so many times by top prospects, by the next great thing. So there's a lot of trauma there. There's a lot of sports trauma there that people are still trying to get over. And when they see Michkov, who for 1 year, it's like he's everything we wanted. He's perfect. He's the greatest thing ever. Now they're seeing him dip. all those bad memories come back of like, yeah, Lindros got to the Hall of Fame, but he was supposed to be the next one. And then he, was just
Couldn't skate with his head
yeah,
up.
he never won us a cup. And, we never won anything with Drew. And we thought he was the best player in the world because that's what Sam Carchidi tweeted one time. Like all this past trauma starts getting dug up and people start letting their minds run away with themselves. And when you haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1975, I kind of get it.
No, and listen, this isn't to like call out anyone individually. It was, yes, the impetus was the guy who sent me the Yakupov thing, but like I'm also calming myself down. I am one of these reactionaries. Like our main boss, Saul from like one of our main bosses, when he was here a couple of months ago, it was like while it was during the first Eagles game and he was like watching us all tweet. He's like, oh my God. You people are all insane.
Yeah.
Like, you're maniacs.
Yep.
And, like, I had a couple of beers, and, like, I think Reed Blankenship got flagged for, like, a bad hit or something. And I was like, good, do it every time. Effing kill him. Like, yeah, that's how we are. And that's just the way it is. Like, that's Philly. This is especially, but I am calming myself down as well. Because, yeah, man, I see Michkov out there. I'm like, this is not good. But, yeah. Maybe it doesn't work out, or maybe he's Nathan McKinnon good. Like, it could go either way. Who the hell knows?
50-50. Either happens or it doesn't.
It either happens or it doesn't. He's either Nathan McKinnon or not. Those are the two possible outcomes. All right. And with that, we have to take our final break. It is time to tell you about the Game Time app, baby. It is my absolute favorite secondary ticket marketplace because they just take the guesswork out of all of it. There's no questions with Game Time. How much is this going to cost? Got to estimate what the fees are going to be. I know it's going to go up when I get the checkout. Not with Game Time because they have the all-in pricing. Oh, how's the seat going to be? I'm not sure if this is where. Nope, you get the panoramic seat view so you know exactly what the sight lines are going to be before you get to the arena. It's that easy. With things like zone deals, you can save even more money when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the actual seats. You have the low price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section in a row for less elsewhere. They're just the best. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Swipe, tap, take a go. Download the Game Time app today. Now it's time to tell you about Rothman, because whether it's a sore knee, stiff shoulder, or nagging back pain, Rothman Orthopedics is here to help you get back to the life you love. Their team of specialists treats all kinds of orthopedic issues, from everyday strains to long-term joint pain, with care that's efficient, effective, and close to home. So don't let pain keep you sidelined. Schedule an appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. All right. Yeah, I had to, that Michkov thing, I was like, Yakupov, really? Like, this is what we're doing? No, it's not linear. Who the hell knows? And we've seen this guy, he went through slumps last year. Like, there was that middle part of the season where he had 7 points in like 25 games, and 2 of them were in the same game. Like, slumps happen. They happen to everybody. I think we're all right. But now it's time for the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. And my big takeaway is I want to just take away a couple of minutes to appreciate the work Danny Briere did this summer. We've been singing the praises of the Trevor Zegras trade. Yes, he got him at a bargain price, but it's the act of waiting it out. They wanted him when they traded Cutter for Drysdale, but the price was a little high. So he said, we'll pass on that. We'll just do this other trade and talk to you again later. And all of a sudden, it's no longer price way too high. It's, man, he got him for almost nothing. Yeah. But you look at some of these contracts he signed as well. That Noah Cates 4x4 we talked about the other day, he is now locked up through the season in which he'll turn 30. And, you have him through his whole prime, basically, $4 million. Yeah. This is like we used to talk about the Simmons and Couturier contracts. Like, maybe it's that sort of value. I don't know if he's a 30-goal scorer, but maybe it's that sort of value. And this Cam York deal, a little over $5 million, he's locked up until the offseason after he turns 29. You have him at $5 million, and at the time I was like, all right, that's cool. And now it's, I don't know. He looks like he took a step, and if he continues to build from here, $5 million for this guy through basically his prime, that's going to be a really good deal as well. He has done tremendous work this summer, I thought. And obviously, Vladar, at least to this point, has been really good.
Yeah.
The Dvorak deal, 1 year, a lot of money for a 1 year guy for who's, middle sixer, basically. But imagine if Trevor Zegras becomes a full-time center sometime in the second half of the year, and then suddenly, it's a little extra. This is kind of repetitive to have Christian Dvorak. And for $2.7 million, some team gives you something for Christian Dvorak. You basically just bought an extra asset. Like, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Maybe they're done with that part of the rebuild altogether, but it's a possibility. He has set himself up very well, Danny Briere has. And some of the contracts he signed earlier were like, yeah, Nick Seeler for that long. Owen Tippett, all right, that seems like fair value. It's not like surplus, but it's fair. Okay, cool. These string of contracts he signed this summer, all really freaking good.
It does look like he had a good offseason. And look,
we're a month in.
In the end, well, I wasn't even going to say the small sample size thing. I was going to say that in the end, you're going to be judged more than anything else on your acquisition.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's hit home runs with, number one, the Zegras trade, because, man, that's looking like a steal. And the Vladar signing. I mean, look, if Vladar just produced league average or even slightly below league average numbers, that would have been a good signing. Instead, he's been way better than that. And suddenly you're watching him and you're like, maybe he could be here past 2 years. Maybe he could be the guy they pair with Zavragan when he comes over, and he can be the vet guy because he seems like a great dude. I mean, everybody in that room talks about how, Tocchet even mentioned it today, about the fact that that Vladar in between shifts will just swing by the bench and just be like, go get him, guys. Like, just super positive. Like, he seems like the most normal goalie ever, apparently, after the Montreal game. And this is after a game that the Flyers won. And Vladar did real good in the shootout, real good in overtime. Tocchet said today that Vladar said to the team, hey, guys, thanks for picking me up. I didn't have my best game. You did a great job. Thanks for making up for me not having my best. Like, that's a really good guy. Seems like he could be a great guy to pair if it turns out that he is the better of the two between him and Ersson when the young guys start coming up. Seems like he'd be a heck of a good veteran mentor to a Zavragan, to a Bjarnason, to even a Kolosov if he explodes in the AHL and becomes that guy for a couple years. Looking like the Vladar signing, absolute masterstroke, at least so far. Zegras trade, great. And I know the Dvorak signing is going to get some grief, but look, the Flyers, as you said, they're a 99.5 pace team in the standings, and Dvorak's got a big role on that team. So I go back to that classic truism with sports analysis. There's no such thing as a bad 1 year contract. Now, Jordan Romano says hi, so there are bad 1 year contracts, but it's hard to have a bad 1 year contract, even if you're paying a little bit more. I believe I heard a couple days ago that, I think it was Vancouver offered him a 4 year contract with a $3 million cap it. So, cap it, not as bad. But if you were going to beat a 4 year term, you're going to have to offer him a lot in a 1 year deal. And they got him on a 1 year deal where he's not going to be blocking Jet Luchenko. He's not going to be filling up a spot that Porter Martone can fill next year. I'm willing to give a guy a little bit more on a 1 year deal, especially when you're in the position the Flyers are, where A, you got the cap space, and B, you got a bunch of young guys like Martone, like Luchenko, like Alex Bump, like Denver Barkey that are going to need spots, and you don't necessarily want to have to give him a second or third year.
Not at all.
You really don't need him the second or third year. You need him now. You got him for now, and you had the money, so what the hell? He's been a useful player.
When my biggest complaint, and this is just in terms of the things Danny did, Tyson Foerster, 2 years, 3.75. It just would have been nice to get him locked up to one of these deals that might be tremendous value later. But also, if he's just I don't want to do that, then there's you can't force him.
Yeah.
He's based on what we saw to start the season before the injury, he is very smart not to sign his prime away before his big breakout year. That would be smart. I think more players should do that. I'm glad the Flyers get guys locked up before it happens sometimes, but be smart for players to wait it out because the price only goes up.
Yeah, and speaking about Tyson Foerster, I think we've all liked what we've seen from him so far this year. It's worth noting, he's missing time.
Yeah.
This is not, he's having a good year. And I think we're all happy with what Tyson Foerster has done this year. We feel like he is continuing his upward trajectory from a developmental standpoint. But we're not talking about a guy that's on pace to score 40 goals and 80 points.
We are not.
We're not talking about someone who, I'm looking at this and being like, well, great year, but oh man, that is going to hurt when they give him the raise in the next deal. maybe they'll get lucky, and maybe he won't have that year until after he gets his next deal. It's only 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We need to promote practice notes, Charlie. Listen, we do a ton of stuff on this channel. I know you all join us live all the time for the 4 p.m. show, the game day stuff, all of that. But every freaking practice, basically, Charlie is grinding because he's a capital J journalist, and then Brenna does her magic.
I was gonna say, do not ignore Brenna's contributions here.
It's mostly Brenna.
Like the work she does on the production for those videos, it's so good.
The two of them combined to create great stuff, and practice notes we have all the time right here on the Flyers YouTube channel. Charlie shot one today that you can watch, so make sure you take the time to do that. It says we have 0 super chats, which is surprising.
That is surprising.
But 89 likes, come on. Come on.
We're almost there.
We are almost there. But before we finish today's show, we have a few minutes left. I got to tell you about a survey y'all need to take in order to get in the running for a $100 Amazon gift card. We thank you all for being part of the PHLY community. We greatly appreciate how dedicated y'all are. We're always looking to improve our shows, better understand how you listen, what you value most, and all that. And that's why we have launched a quick survey. Your feedback helps us shape the content you love and make it even better. It only takes a few minutes, but it makes a big impact. So take a moment, head to allphly.com/survey and let your voice be heard. And respondents have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card because we appreciate you. And listen, I know you don't want to go take a survey, but it helps us, and you might win $100. So everybody wins. It's very easy. Just go do it. Scan the code there or go to allphly.com/survey. And while I'm telling you to do things, Star Wars game, baby. That's right. Flyers. Let me find my camera. There it is. It's only been 2 years. Tomorrow, the Flyers-Senators game. It is the Star Wars game down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. They're giving away these light side, dark side posters. Gritty is going to be a Jedi. There's going to be fun family entertainment, Star Wars theme. So bring the kids. Get your tickets at the Flyers website. I just wanted to plug that because it's a cool thing. Drew's in town. Maybe your kids like Star Wars. Maybe you're, big adult who likes Star Wars. There's a lot of them. Like, it's a big thing.
One thing I get a kick out of, and they've done this because they've done Star Wars games for a while.
Yeah.
Is that during intermissions, like obviously they're gonna play like the Star Wars theme,
of course,
but you also get like Weird Al doing his American Pie cover.
That's very funny.
You have Steve Martin doing the Star Wars theme on SNL. Like they really dig into the deep cuts. It's kind of fun.
That is fun. So head on down, go check that out, and get yourself this double-sided light side, dark side poster.
Who is the light side and who's dark side?
I can't really. So dark side is Michkov, Konechny, and Sanheim.
Okay.
And then light side is Coots, Trevor, and Ersson.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Sanheim, I think is a bit of a stretch. I feel like he's a very, very nice person.
Yeah.
But like Mish, yeah, I could see him. He's just destroying hopes and dreams out there. And then TK, obviously.
Yes.
Obviously TK's on the dark side.
Obviously.
Of course.
I mean, it's ridiculous to think he wouldn't be. All right, I see we have one super chat, so let's get to that. Crud Muddler. No super chats? Oh, heck no. Good show, gang. Thank you. We really appreciate that. Man, I'm having fun watching the Flyers, and it's been a long time, but I did have to calm myself down with Michkov stats today. Like, okay. No, it'll all be okay.
You talked yourself off the list.
I did a little. Like I said, I'm not going to judge him until his 21st birthday last night. That's my date. December 9th is when I start to go, all right, what are you doing? That's until then, though, I'm gonna back off a little.
So we don't need to get third eye blind in your house to play jumper?
Not quite. And the guy in my DMs who wants me to talk him off the ledge, I hope I did that for you with my stat comparison today.
Yes.
Because that was it. He was like, talk me off the ledge. I was like, no. Nope, that's not my job. I'm not a therapist.
We kind of are.
I guess.
I feel like we kind of play that role
we are
for
basically
distraught Flyers fans.
We are basically sports therapists.
Yeah.
But that is all the time we have for you on this show today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We are almost at 52,000. We're on the march to 100,000. Make sure you are one of them. And hit the freaking like button. 97. You have like a minute to get us to 100, so I'm not sad when I leave. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those, because we are still a podcast, damn it. Just search PHLY Flyers. That is it for us this Friday evening. We'll be back with pre and post game tomorrow. Until then, I'm Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.